Tinggal un daun, bibigyan mo kasayan juga kalau sudah itu tergantung.
Hello, I'm Jeff Gabriel with Sierra Forever, and we have a special guest today. We have Kara Flowers, who's one of our climbing rangers that's starting the season a few days ago. So Kara, welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
Great. Yes, we're excited. Actually, I should probably say you never really left as you worked through the summer working on the climbing ranger stuff, but the official season started just a few weeks ago.
Yep.
So tell us, so those that may not know, what is the Climbing Ranger program and how is it beneficial to the community?
Yeah, the Climbing Ranger program is run by Sierra Forever, but it's a program that came together with support from all of our partners, which is U.S. Forest Service, LADWP, BLM. We also work with BACC and other nonprofits in the area to come together and work to patrol and monitor the climbing areas around the Eastern Sierra so that there's some coverage in these places that have kind of one user group of climbers but don't necessarily always talk between each other.
Okay, so could you share a little bit about the BACC? What is that? And
yeah, the BACC is the Bishop Area Climbers Coalition. It is a nonprofit that is run by local climbers to come together, and we work together because the Climbing Ranger program with Sierra Forever and BACC are different, but they also have the same goals of trying to encourage responsible recreating in the area, to preserve these climbing areas and help support and steward them so that they're around for years to come.
Great. So the Bishop Area Climbers Rangers are not necessarily unique. You have Yosemite, Devil's Tower, and there are probably other locations where there's climbing rangers, what they're referred to as.
Yeah.
But how does a program here, what similarities are there to those other type of programs and what differences are there?
Yeah. So our Climbing Ranger program is similar in kind of the tasks that we do, but it's unique here in the Eastern Sierra because we are not run by an actual national park or National Forest Service. So most of those other areas like Joshua Tree, Yosemite, Devil's Postpile, they're one unique isolated area of a lot of climbing, and there are climbing rangers there to patrol those areas. But here in the Eastern Sierra, we have a very unique and incredible array of styles and types of climbing areas. So we have bouldering in the Buttermilks and the Tablelands. We have trad and sport climbing in Pine Creek. We have Owens River Gorge. So there's such a dense collection of incredible climbing in this area. So people travel from all around to climb in this area, especially in the winter time. But then all of those areas are spread out across the Eastern Sierra. So it was a very unique challenge to try to start this program because you couldn't just say, okay, BLM, we need climbing rangers, but then those are only patrolling in the BLM side. So it was this kind of collaborative effort to come together and try to create a program that could cover all of these areas. And so it took a lot of partnership and communication between these agencies.
Yeah. So on that, when you talk about people coming from all over, so they come from all over the world.
Yes.
I mean, this is like the mecca of bouldering. And
if you're local to Bishop and you don't know, you live in a world-class climbing destination. People travel from all over the world to climb here, and it is an interesting place because most of these other climbing areas are really popular in the spring, summer, fall. You know, Yosemite is very popular throughout those seasons, but then Bishop is unique because it has this beautiful environment that in the winter we can keep climbing all year round. So our busiest climbing season definitely picks up in the fall, but then through the winter people are coming here to climb because a lot of other areas aren't accessible.
Wow. So this being your second year as being one of the Bishop Climbing Rangers, so what do you look to see that might be different, that might do based on last year's experiences that you might do this year with regard to interacting with the climbers.
Totally. Well, it's been amazing coming back because I know what's happening. But yeah, each season the program has been able to shift and grow. And I think that's one of the beautiful things of being under the umbrella of Sierra Forever, because we have a program that is growing and evolving and changing every season. So this season we have really exciting things that we're trying to do. We're learning from each season and making shifts. As we grow the program, we realize that we can do so much. And sometimes that can be challenging because there's only 2 of us. So trying to keep it within what we can do. But so I think this year we are making some changes. We're going to be doing a lot more stewardship in both the Buttermilks and the Tablelands. So we have big plans for that. We're trying to get some new programs going that are in their primary stages. And we also are shifting our Climber Coffee program, which I can talk about a little bit. It's basically just a program for community members to come out. We provide coffee. We provide sometimes treats. And we go to climbing areas, previously PV Pit Campground, and we set up and talk about leave no trace education. We talk about climbing areas. We talk about how the ethics of this area, the climbing etiquette of this area, and how we want people to be out there recreating in a responsible way. And so we are shifting that from just 8 a.m. at the pit this year to 9 a.m. And our areas that we are going to rotate between the popular climbing areas to try to hit all of those destinations. Now, these climbing coffee events are not exclusive to climbers alone. So if you're in the area or you're a local person and you want to just come out, talk to climbers, talk to other partner agency members that sometimes come and join us and just get to know the community a little bit better, you are welcome to join. Come have a cup of coffee this weekend, this Sunday. It will be at the Buttermilk Main parking lot. But if you're ever wondering, it's going to be every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. And then those areas are going to change. But we will be posting where we were going to be hosting it on both our website and the Sierra Forever calendar website, and also on our Instagram, which is the Bishop Climbing Rangers Instagram. And you are encouraged to follow our Instagram because it's where we post a lot of updates about what we're doing this season.
Wow. That sounds like a lot.
Yeah.
So what, you talked about stewardship projects, something that had not necessarily been, you could say, probably a primary part that had been in the past, but it seems to be one that is getting more traction of something that needs to be done. So what some of the stewardship projects do you think might be going on for this coming season? Yeah,
well, so last year, in order to get stewardship projects done, especially on public lands that are run by the government, so U.S. Forest Service, BLM, any federal lands, you have to go through a series of approvals in order to get that area scouted for stewardship projects, which sometimes feels challenging because if you have a lot of energy and excitement, you have to be patient with it. But it makes actually a lot of sense once you understand it, because those areas have to be checked by all of the different departments. So heritage archaeology, geology, hydrology, botany, all of these different specialties go and patrol these areas, look at where we want to do stewardship, and approve whether or not there's a precious new baby species of plant that maybe we need to protect in this area, and we shouldn't have a bunch of people coming out to do trail work. And so once you understand that, it does make sense for why it takes some approval. And so last season, we actually spent a long time trying to get approval to do the trail work that we want to get done in Buttermilk, Maine. And by the end of last season, that all of those field trips had happened, and it was approved just before our final stewardship project of the season. So we ended up getting to do stewardship in Buttermilk, Maine, and we actually just started back our season with the Kragan Classic, which is the climbing festival you may know is happening or happens historically here in the fall. So we run a stewardship day on the last day of that festival so that climbers that come and attend can feel some encouragement to give back to the community. This year it was super well attended. We were so excited with the work that everybody did, but we were able to jump back in the buttermilk main and get a ton of stewardship done in that area. So yeah, so buttermilks is now approved for the stewardship that we wanted to do. So this season we're going to have a lot more, and we're really excited about that.
No, that sounds great and really exciting. What, talking about the climbers and some that may be their first time coming here, or maybe multiple times that they've already been here visiting, doing the climbing and experiencing our area. When you look at it from the educational side and the stewardship projects, what is normally the response that you seem to get from climbers in general, in the sense of, you know, are they into it? Are they like receptive to the message?
Yeah. My experience has been exceptionally positive in that I understand that climbers in this area have a huge impact, and I'm out there patrolling all the time. I see some of the challenging behavior that comes from climbers, and I can understand how that is frustrating at times, but I've been very encouraged in the fact that when we are out there educating, most of these people that are doing problematic behavior are not doing it intentionally, but doing it due to ignorance. So I see that as encouragement that if I do my job well, and if Casey does his job well, and if as a climbing community, we all take it upon ourselves to be better stewards of the land and better educators of the ethics that we want in this area, people want to do their best. You know, if you don't understand a high desert environment, if you're coming from LA and the only time you've ever walked on sand is beaches where you can run and play, you don't necessarily think about the fact that if you're just cutting through the desert, going off trail in these areas and cutting to your favorite boulders as fast as you can, you might be encouraging more erosion, soil compaction, destruction of the plants. And oftentimes when I go up and talk to somebody about it, they're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. And I think that sometimes for those of us that are used to this environment, we can be like, how could you not know this? But it really is true. A lot of people are coming from these cities and have had little to no experience out in the wilderness, in the environments that we're climbing and exploring in. And yeah, so we're really trying. I feel like there are three kind of separate parts of our job. There's the patrolling, the stewardship, the data collection, which is important for these agencies. We're out there patrolling in order to get data on how many people are out there, trends during the years, and we're reporting those back every year so that we can get things approved, like getting a bathroom up in the buttermilks, because there's enough people out there that we need bathrooms. So that part of the job is really important. We're also doing through that mapping of the trails so that they can understand where social trails are and where we should be doing rehabilitation in the area. So that's an important part. And then there's the part of leave no trace education, which is when we get to go into the school systems, when we get to go to these cities and do Jim to Crags and have climber coffees and have these different places where we walk around and engage with the community and try to encourage the ethics and the etiquette that we want to see out there. And some of that includes just basic awareness of cultural education as well. You know, these areas that we climb are culturally significant areas to the Bishop Paiute tribe. And a lot of times climbers coming up from cities don't even know that there is a tribe in this area. So encouraging people to go visit the cultural center, to become aware of the impact that we have just by exploring, and that doesn't mean we can't go out and explore, but it shifts your perspective and it shifts your awareness when you're out there exploring to be more conscientious, to be more considerate of the plants, animals, other people, cultures around you. And so we've got our patrols, we've got our leave no trace education, and then we just have basic community outreach and community building. And I think that's not an overlooked, it's a very important part of the job, because I think that in order to have people that are receptive to the education that we have, it's so important to recognize that we're one community of people that love this land, but specifically within the climbing community, it is all of our job. You know, Casey and I are out there doing what we can, but it's not just our responsibility to be picking up trash. It's everybody's responsibility who is out there, who enjoys this land, to be stewards of the land. And I think that once you build community and have these different events where people feel like they are a part of the community, that feeling makes us all want to do more to encourage that good behavior within the community. So yeah, that's the overview of all of the different things that we do. And yeah.
So with that, which is exceptional in explanation of all the facets that are required,
Yeah.
which really then begs the question, it doesn't seem that this program should ever stop. It's something that should continue.
No.
Or
yeah, I think that this program definitely should not stop. And I'm not just saying that because it's my job. I'm saying it because climbing is not going anywhere. You know, climbing is only increasing in popularity. They're looking at the trends in gyms, and those trends are increasing. So climbing as a sport, as a recreational activity, is only growing at this point. And with that growth comes people wanting to come and explore these areas where they see videos of people climbing, they see pictures in their gyms of the buttermilks, and it creates this desire to come and explore these areas. So we are going to continue in the Bishop area having an influx of climbers. And with that, I do not think the program should go away. I think that even with the work that we're doing, every single season, it could continue to grow. I think that we sometimes have reached our growing pains of having only 2 climbing rangers. You know,
Right.
Casey and I are both super passionate. We both have a lot of ideas for the program, but we're at the capacity of what 2 people out there can do. And in order to grow that, it would take more funding. And that is actually something, to just circle back to why our program is unique. All of these other programs, climbing ranger programs that are run by national parks, are getting funding from the national parks. Because we are under the umbrella of Sierra Forever, we are reliant on donors, grants, and other fundraising opportunities in order to pay for this program. So at this point, we've done an amazing job, and we can have 2 climbing rangers seasonally here. But as these things continue to grow, in order to grow with them, it will take more funding. And if you want to donate to our program, you can. But yeah, there's also lots of fundraising opportunities to support this program. Yeah, and I do think it's important, and it's not just because it's my job.
Oh, that's great. So what, you know, we should probably send a thank you to the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power, the
Yes.
Bishop Chamber of Commerce,
The Bishop Chamber of Commerce, yeah.
which are 2 of the largest financial donors to the program.
Yeah.
And then for the 2nd year in a row, we have a grant from the National Forest Foundation.
Yeah.
That's upwards of $35,000.
Yeah. So those
which
are
helps immensely.
our 3 biggest financial backers of the program. But then we also we have personal donors that are giving to this program. So hopefully in the years that it continues to grow, we can grow with it. Yeah.
Oh, so we have Kara, who's one of the Bishop climbing rangers that we have. Unfortunately, Casey's not been able to join us today, but we thank you for being here very much.
Yeah.
And this is a tremendous program that's been going on for 8 years? 6 years.
This is our 6th season, yeah.
Season.
And if you would like to reach out to me or Casey, feel free. If you do follow us on Instagram, if you message us on that, it comes directly to us. But also, you can email us. Our email is on the website, or I can just say it.
Yeah, you can just say it.
Kara@sierraforever.org, Casey@sierraforever.org, and maybe we can put it in a comment or something. But yeah, feel free to shoot us an email. We are very receptive to ideas, and that's one of the beauties of the program, is that we are continuing to grow it and change it each season. So
yeah, and I think you and Casey would be certainly agreeable to a group that may not necessarily be connected to climbing, but they want to have you come and present to talk about
Absolutely.
climbing and what's happening and what the
Or
things
if
that you're doing.
people
So,
want to go out and join our stewardship days or come out to the climbing areas and meet climbers, there's lots of opportunities to network with climbing community, and learn about what we do.
great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Kara, for
Thank
coming
you,
and sharing with us today. Again, I'm Jeff Gabriel with Sierra Forever. Educate, inspire, explore.
Yay!
Same note. I got my little notes here because my brain's too small to remember all this stuff. But tips for a safe Halloween. We got a lot of stuff going on for that. I want to go over a few safety items, and particularly, we have this, Caltrans has their Safe Streets campaign going on in the city of Bishop, Big Pine, Independence. You'll notice that they have all the billboards are going, slow down in town, all that stuff. That's fantastic, but we need the pedestrians and those on the streets to be making the same effort. It really takes everyone paying attention and doing the right things to ensure that everyone is as safe as we can be. So for trick-or-treating, for those of you folks that have kids that are young enough and they're just out kind of doing their own thing, please go over with them a few of the just basic safety items, okay? If they're going to be out crossing streets, running back and forth, again, encourage them, don't be running across the street. Cross at intersections, preferably lit ones. It's always great if some people have some flashlights as everything starts getting darker. I think we're getting dark now around 6:30-ish. Make sure that they have a flashlight or something lighting them up so that folks can see them driving. As we all know, we've all cruised the surface streets around our towns and our housing communities, and we've all had that kid or group of kids jump out in front of us, even when we think we're doing our best, doing maybe 10 miles an hour. Sometimes it's hard to see them. They're fast. I'm a little jealous. I remember having that kind of energy and speed with me, but be extra careful. But for the kids, when you get your candy, don't just sit there and start chowing it, okay? Luckily, thank God, we haven't had any problems in this area. But get home, parents, go through the candy with your kids, make sure the packages are unopened. Be safe about that. Again, keep a light on them, whether it be one of those, glow sticks or whatever it is. There's a lot of great ideas out there. Me and my kids, when they were younger, we used to put an LED light inside of their little pumpkin, their pumpkin lit up when they were carrying their candy around. But do something so that the motoring public can see them. And again, if they're not old enough, please have a parent, adult, some sort of supervision with them. Hold their hands when they're crossing the street. Make sure they're doing the right thing. That's your opportunity to teach the kids how to do the right thing if they're of that age where they're still learning and looking to the adult for all the answers, okay? That's when they still listen before they know everything. So they haven't hit their teen years yet at that point.
is hunting us. There's an army coming that cannot be beaten.
This world can't survive if you stay together.
I thought we were gonna be the lethal protector.
That's what this is.
Let's finish this.
Venom: The Last Dance, rated PG-13, in theaters Thursday.
You've seen it, haven't you? The smiling face.
We have to stop it! No matter what! I've been waiting for you.
Smile too.